came through like halfway, pretty much right on like 3:20, the goal time. And then, yeah, I continued to I was like feeling good. So continued just slowly crank it up and ended up finishing 3 hours, 14 minutes. And I think I maybe had a bit too much left in the tank at the end because...
What's up, y'all? Morning, and welcome to the People Run Podcast, show where we talk about everyday runners, whether you're a student going to school, mom with kids, training, you got to drop them off to school and you still getting your mileage in. You're an avid runner, but today's a little different. Today I have a good friend of mine out here in Colorado, Boulder area, Sean, who's also a cyclist. He loves cycling, so avid cycler, runner, gravel to be exact. And then some. He has some background in soccer. So let's get right into it and talk to Sean, get to know Sean a little bit, and talk about everyday runners, the people run. Let's go. What's up, Sean? How you doing?
Hey, man. What's going on? Yeah, it's a busy week for me. We were talking a bit before this, but I'm moving out. Still staying in Boulder, but moving out of the place I've been living for the past 5 years this week. So, yeah.
Nice.
That's always a bit stressful, but kind of excited for the next couple months.
What spurred that on? Just nicer place?
Yeah. So I've been living with the same roommate for the past 5 years. He's a good college buddy stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's just time to change things up. He's also moving in with his girlfriend.
Getting serious.
Trying out the solo living thing too. So, yeah.
I think you'll enjoy it, man. Eat, wake up when you want, you got a few more, chores to do. But I remember the first time when I moved on my own, I don't know, for me, it was welcoming. And it was just like, all right, man, this is my place. If I want to clean up, I do. If I don't, I won't. You think you're just going to chill, but eventually you get a little pride of your own place. And then it's like, okay, I got to make this nice and keep it nice. You can invite people when you want, have fun, spruce it up a little bit. You can mount your bikes wherever you want now.
Yeah, everyone says that once you live by yourself, you never go back. Right out of college, I was living by myself in Kansas, though. So then I went to the roommate thing for the next 5-7 years or whatever, and now we're going back again. So.
I got lucky, man, to be honest with you. So I grew up in New York, if you remember a little bit, and almost everyone, until you got enough money, is roommate because it's expensive, right? But I got lucky. Me and my sister just ended up being roommates. It still felt like a roommate. Don't get me wrong.
No.
But I say lucky that it wasn't like a college. Nothing wrong with this, but it wasn't like a stranger or a college buddy or something. And I remember a lot of my friends were before was just random people. It wasn't even a close friend, which sometimes could be a good or a bad thing. But I got lucky that was my only roommate. And, after that, I went on my own and moved around a bit. But, it is fun. I think you're going to enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
So I went to University of Minnesota. So, yeah, that's sort of why when I the only marathon I've done, I picked grandma's because Minnesota feels sort of like a adopted home to me. I grew up in Illinois, suburbs of Chicago, but I don't really ever see myself moving back there. Sorry, mom and dad. But I could see myself moving back to Minnesota someday. Maybe I like it there.
I went to Chicago for the first time last year for the marathon, but got some friends and family out there, and I liked it. I don't know if I'd move there, right? Because kind of done with the city life a little bit, and I do like Colorado a lot, but it is cool. So I kind of get your point. I don't know about moving back there. Minnesota's cold though, man. Oof.
I mean, everyone says that Chicago is cold too. It's right on Lake Michigan. I think that's the thing. Chicago is sweet in the summer. It's a great place to be. Got all the beaches and stuff. You can run along the lakefront. The struggle is the winter. And Minnesota kind of has this too, but it's you can just go weeks without seeing the sun. And that's not an exaggeration. Wild, I'll go home for the holidays at the end of the year or something. And you're so used to seeing the sun out here in Colorado.
Yeah.
You kind of get used to it. And then as soon as that's taken away, seasonal depression, I think is very real for me out there.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, yeah, Minnesota is kind of similar in that, like in the winter, but I don't know, like people just like, I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, but I feel like they embrace the winter better in Minnesota, and they're out like playing like pond hockey and stuff like that. And it's just a cool vibe.
Yeah, you gotta love that cold, man. And one, I know it's cold because I know people out there, but also the seasonal depression. So I had that when I was in Seattle, and it's
Yeah.
for sure Minnesota. I would suspect is different. Like you got hockey and people like it's so cold, people get used to it. But it's definitely it's funny you brought up the sun in Colorado. That's kind of what drew me here. It's kind of hard to go back. I'm sure when you go back to visit or even for the race, it's like, oh, I can't do this because we're so used to sun, especially now, summer, man. I keep telling my friends the sun is out. You see it,
Yeah.
feel it, but it's
Yeah.
great. It's beautiful, man. And it's just weird to go back to no sun. Like right now, I'm looking outside, it's cloudy and it just feels weird.
Yeah, like even yesterday we had a late kind of
Yeah.
afternoon, evening rainstorm, and it was like the sun was going, like
Yeah.
sun was shining, but it was raining. So
Yeah, it's wild, man. But the only thing I would say with here is, and not complaining, I love it here. Can we get some shade though?
yeah,
That's the only downside. I love the sun, but most places, for you even more, I would say probably Boulder. A lot of the hot spots for running, like they're great, right? You got a nice gravel road, easy on the knees. But every time I've been out there, man, there's no trees, no shade, and when it's hot, it's hot. I get the same thing here in some spots too.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely true. And it's like when I'm on like longer bike rides, I'm like packing sunscreen and like
Yeah.
always like reapplying it because yeah, you'll get scorched.
What kind of stuff? Talking about that, like, what kind of stuff do you do? So you use sunscreen. What other tips you have? Because I know, and we'll get into the running, cycling here in a little bit. But what kind of stuff do you do to prepare for the sun?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly just a lot of like stay hydrated. I
Yeah,
like I like coffee, but I'll try like I wake up and I usually like down like a glass of water
yeah,
first thing in the morning. And then like yeah, I'll like do some like electrolyte stuff usually most days. Now it's like my body kind of just expects that. So like
yeah.
if I don't have electrolytes, I can just like feel like I don't know, like I'm even thirstier or something. Yes, I just like making sure I'm hydrated, and then yeah, it's just like the sunscreen. I have a bigger nose, so like I really gotta like put a lot of sunscreen on my nose, or it'll get burned like first thing, and then yeah, just like everywhere else that's exposed, especially the tops of your legs, because they're kind of always getting hit by the sun,
Yeah.
right around the knees and stuff. Those are like kind of important parts, and yeah, I'll just pack like a little like it's kind of like a so they have gel packets that are like sunscreen that are nice to
Mhm.
like single use that'll like cover your whole body. That's nice to like take around. You can get those on like Amazon or like they have like a stick, basically like mini deodorant type thing that I'll just use on my
You'll
like
carry it with you, like on the bike ride.
yeah.
Nice. Well, talking about that, let's get right into it. How did you get into cycling, running?
Yeah. So it's like it's funny that on like a running podcast, I probably would have never like expected to be on a running podcast ever. Because like that's like a relative running's basically a relatively new love for me.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I did grow up playing like, and that was kind of like my one sport through high school. Like did the travel soccer thing, but then yeah, in high school went out for the team and made it. I went to like a bigger high school. We had a freshman A and B team. Graduating class was like 1,500 kids, but I just stopped kind of loving soccer freshman year, I guess. Like just
Yeah.
started to be like a lot of politics and stuff involved. And so at that time, like I was in a history class, and the teacher of the history class like taught the tennis team, and they're like, if you want to go out for tennis, we're like always looking for people. If you're like just a little bit of an athlete, like and you have no tennis experience, that's fine. You'll learn. I
Jack
did
of
that.
all trades, just do it all.
Yeah. And yeah, that was awesome. Like that, like I loved tennis. Like the coaches were like really great. They like really kind of like took an interest in like anyone that was like excited to learn. They like taught me some like I think really important just like life lessons about like I don't know like one of the coaches was like, he was a really big sort of like John Wooden fan, like the UCLA basketball coach, and he had all these like Woodenisms and stuff, and yeah, just like learned a lot about just like he always kind of preached enjoy the journey. And I think that's like something that's really important in like training, life, whatever. Like you have
Yeah,
all
for
your
sure.
ups and downs and stuff, but at the end of the day, like you just really got to like enjoy the experience, because that's like what's going to get you through like the tougher days, stuff like that. But yeah, high school is also sort of when I got into biking. Later in high school, like started getting into mountain biking and did this like started doing this like 24-hour mountain bike race. Not just me, with like three other friends. But it was in Wausau, Wisconsin. It's called the Wausau 24. I think they still have it. But you'd basically do like a one lap out in this like forest, and on like single track mountain bike stuff. The lap was probably like 10 or 12 miles, and you just like do that for 4 hours. So just doing it with like
Sheesh.
three other friends. And yeah, we just trade off. And like we had no idea what we were doing. Like we didn't know anything about like fueling or whatever. And yeah, that was like, so like I look back at that now and kind of laugh, just because yeah, we were like so in like over our skis and stuff, but like we didn't care. Like it was just fun to like hang out.
More fun, yeah. What was that like? You know, I guess you guys sounds like you guys were winging it, but the important stuff was there, the fun, the enjoyment of it, right? Like, what was it
Yeah,
like preparing? Did you just, yo, we just gonna do this, go out, like, and figure it out as we go? What was that like?
yeah, pretty much. Like we did not like we didn't really train to, like especially like we did it, so we did that race sort of like maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't really remember. It ended up being sort of like we started it like when we were juniors or seniors in high school or something, and then when we like went to college, it was kind of like a good way to like still meet up over the summer and whatnot.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, I don't remember us really ever training for it. We'd go on maybe like, a couple mountain bike rides throughout the summer. And that was like about it, honestly. And yeah, the fueling was crazy. Like I discovered gels then. So like I at least knew about
You were taking
those.
gels, yeah.
But I would definitely wasn't consuming like probably enough for sure. And just the other like the ways we would fuel in between our laps were kind of ridiculous. Like I would come back and I'd like slam like a Myoplex protein shake after like every single lap. So like you do
Damn.
like 5 or 6 laps in a day and it's just throwing that stuff down. And then like another one of my friends, he thought it would be like a good idea. He went to like Sam's Club or something and bought like an 8 pack of Chef Boyardee like beefy raviolis, and that's what he was like eating in between all his
That's
laps.
wild.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's
I mean,
funny.
I don't think a lot of the information in nutrition, like if you take all the information on like that most people know now, and actually now as I think about this, take for granted, like all of it's probably in the last few years. Like, hey, you know, take a gel every 30, 40 minutes, you know, make sure you're getting carbs, electrolytes. Like as much as we all know that now, I feel like it's taken for granted. So like, hey, you can't knock it, you know, Chef Boyardee, Myoplex. You were getting your protein up for sure on those. You
Yeah,
guys still link up?
maximum protein, minimum carbs. What?
You and those friends, you guys still link up every now and then, catch up, do some crazy races, or just ride?
One of them, the Chef Boyardee guy. Yeah,
Okay,
we link up still quite a bit.
nice.
And yeah, another one. I lived with him when I first moved out to Colorado for a couple years, but yeah, we don't really link up
Got you.
too much anymore. And then the last guy, he's back still living in Illinois, so yeah, I don't see him too much.
You get out there often and visit the fam, Illinois, or every once in a while?
Yeah, not as much as I should. Like around the holidays,
Okay.
and then yeah, like sometimes like in the like summer or fall.
Okay. So going from mountain biking, how'd you get into is it gravel? Was your is your well, I know now for sure, but like how did gravel become your passion? Is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so like after I graduated college, moved to Kansas.
Yep.
I was working for Garmin. That's sort of why I moved to Kansas. That's where their headquarters are.
Hmm.
I didn't really have any strong desire to like live in Kansas, but like it's like this is a really really cool job, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like go live here for a few years. And when I was in Kansas, I got into road biking a bit. They actually have like hills in Kansas,
Mhm.
like around like the Kansas City area, and, like a lot of rolling hills. So yeah, it's not totally flat. But then like when I moved out to Colorado, I think I still did the road biking thing. I did the mountain biking. I started road biking a lot more in COVID because like there was like very few cars on the road. It was
Yeah,
like
roads were open. Yeah.
and then like after COVID, I got more into gravel just because like yeah, the roads started getting busier again. Gravel also started becoming a lot more popular, so I was sort of jumping on that bandwagon. But like at the end of the day, I just like sort of like the adventure and exploration side that you can like get into like on a bike, and like the gravel bike is just like the perfect vehicle for that. I think
Yeah.
ride it on the roads, you can like hop off onto a little trail, you can take it on a mountain bike trail sometimes too, do a bit of like under biking they call it. But yeah, it's that's sort of like the journey to gravel.
Yeah, man, I agree. Even myself, I think we've spoken about this. I definitely want to get into gravel. Funny, what last time we spoke about biking, I had a road bike, but I recently sold it because I'm all in running right now. But at some
Yeah.
point, I definitely want to get to it, and definitely like when we first spoke, get into gravel. And something about you brought up views. This is where my thought is going. Is the views here for gravel in Colorado? Like, yeah, I know we got roads, but like Colorado, Boulder, just Colorado in general are insane, beautiful, amazing. Like, and everywhere I go, like you know how it is. You go into a town, you go into ski town. There's everyone's got a bike hitched on the back, and you see more mountain gravel here. So it's definitely like our thing here. I'd say in Colorado. But man, something about the views and even some of your routes I see when I see it on Strava and stuff is it's just wow, insane.
Yeah, like yeah, I have to like remind myself to like pay attention and like take it in. Like to, like I think that's sort of like the speed of like biking versus running. Like it's a lot easier to like take in the scenery when I'm on a run because you're just like going at a slower pace.
Yeah.
But like that's sort of like why I do like the I don't know like I like climbing on the gravel bike because you're going at a slower pace and you can take in the views a lot better than if like you're ripping down some gravel road.
Do you like actually it's funny, I wanted to ask you that and you brought it up. Do you prefer to climb or just fast downhill or just straight, speed, tempo, whatever?
Yeah, no, I prefer to climb for sure.
Well, that's wild.
I enjoy like downhills are fun too.
Yeah.
Flat rides, yeah, they're pretty boring to me. Yeah, like I did the other weekend, did this ride from Boulder to Estes Park, and then met a couple friends in Estes Park, and then we biked up like Old Fall River Road in Rocky Mountain National Park because it's closed to cars right now while they're
Yeah.
doing like snow plowing operations. But then yeah, like then just came back and like threw my bike in like my buddy's truck and like didn't need to like bike back to Boulder because it's mostly downhill and just garbage miles. Just kidding. But yeah, I'd had enough biking for the day at that point.
I mean, yeah, what Boulder to Estes, I'll ask you because you did the bike ride, so it's probably fresh in your mind, but I know it's a long distance. How far is that? Into Rocky as well?
Yeah, like to Estes, it's like 40 45 miles or so,
Okay.
and it's like it's all pretty much uphill.
Yeah, I would have been tired too, man. Let's put
Yeah,
this on the truck and let's go.
yeah, my butt had had enough, that's for sure.
How do for those listening, it's funny you brought up the running and cycling, but I do plan to get some cycling people on here. And there is some people more I have lined up coming, for those listening who also into cycling or do both running and cycling, how do you feel on those, say, 2 hour, 3, 4 hour cycling trips?
Yeah. So like I try to like have like a good like base before I even go out.
Okay.
So if I'm doing like a long Saturday ride, I'll usually have like a big bowl of oatmeal or something with like
Classic.
granola, probably some like maple syrup drizzled on top and stuff, maybe some like berries if I got them and want to spice things up. But yeah, I think like getting a base is sort of important. And then I've sort of like changed. Like I used to like eat more solid foods on longer rides. Well, now I like if I eat, I'll sometimes bring like fig bars and stuff, and that's like the solid foods I'll eat. And if I'm bringing solid foods, I'll try and eat them more towards the beginning because they can sometimes take longer to digest in your
Yeah.
body like process those carbs because they're not as simple. But yeah, most of the time it's just like a lot of gels these days. I switched to gels because like that's pretty much all I can get down. Gels and like carb drinks. If I'm doing like a race, it's a lot harder to like chew stuff during a race. So yeah, like there's some like cyclists that like can consume crazy amounts of carbs. Like they're like some of like the gravel pros. I think they're like aiming for like 130 grams an hour these
That's wild.
days.
Yeah.
They're just like constantly pounding gels. I'm happy if I can get like 80 to 100 in.
It's funny you say that. I've tried you probably know this as well, right? Because like one thing for those listening, when you're in Boulder, like you kind of get to see, or correct me if I'm wrong, Sean. I feel like you get a little bit more access, sort of to see what pros do a little bit, or you hear word of mouth. You know, Boulder is very known now, but it's also small. Like, and what I'm getting at, like you can hear what cyclists do, you can hear what runners do, like scratches there. You know,
Yeah.
you got all these people, and man, I would hear the same thing for running, where like you got like pros or like very fast people trying to get in 100, 120 grams of carbs, and I'm like, where running, you know? And these people are fast. So, and my last build just kind of happened naturally, and I learned a lesson to that, which I can get to the end. But I was like, man, let me try to get more carbs on these long runs and prep for the marathon. And I had switched to like Morton's for the race, but also like some other gel brands pre-Morton, like pre-race, to not go into Morton and not like spend crazy money like that were like 40
Yeah,
grams per
those expensive.
gel. Yeah, Morton's get crazy. I mean, it's nice to train all of them, but do you really need to? You know, maybe a few weeks out from the race, make sure your gut and stomach is fine. But I would get in like 40 every 30 minutes or whatever. And it took me a while to get used to those 80 to 100 grams. Keep in mind, I would also have like a bottle and drink at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, like some scratch or something, which is another 20. So I was getting in like 100 grams. And I don't think I mean, maybe I could get used to it in the future, but I don't think I liked it, to be honest with you. Maybe if you're faster because you're expending more energy and, you know, you're going faster, you're going to need more. But like, man, that was rough, is what I'm
Yeah.
getting at.
Yeah, it's I think it took me a while to like adapt to it. And like I definitely like yeah, I don't think you can go like straight to just like all gels. Like I think you need like some like combination of like solid food and gels. Like at least I did as I was like transitioning or like gummies or like something. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough some like the next day too, like when your system's not used to like that. If you like went out for like a super long ride or run or something and now like half your calories for the day were just in like the form of liquid or gels, like it's
Yeah.
not going to do good things for your digestion.
Yeah, that is, it's crazy because I think about it often because I have a lot of cycling friends, like, and I see cyclists, like, they tend to eat more than like the gels. And it's kind of, you know, but we're kind of almost always hitting the same carbs a little bit, maybe a little bit more in the cycling because cycling tends to go over 2 hours consistently, especially
Yeah.
your rides. So like finding that balance. I even have a friend that does Ironmans too, and like his stuff is different. Like where you'll do like I've never touched a chew, to be honest with you, like ever. Like maybe
Yeah.
just for fun, but not during training ever. But like in cycling, chews are everything. Like from what I've seen and know, or like some people like it. It gets crazy, man. Before I ask you running, I do want to ask you though, you know, because we were kind of touching on it. We got Colorado here, beautiful views. But for those listening, Ryan, we spoke about this funny enough. Like Sean has gone on some insane, beautiful rides, even outside the country. I want to talk about that a little bit. What has been some of your favorite, you know, road ride trips you've done? I'll hint one. You know, we went to Spain. He went
Yeah.
to Spain. Is that your favorite? But talk to us about some of those rides you've been and some of those trips.
Yeah. So yes, Spain. So yeah, I went to Spain, sort of for like it was like a little over 6 weeks.
The dream.
I'm lucky, like I have a remote job that sort of like allowed me to like go over there. And I pretty much worked like US East Coast hours while I was there. So roughly like 3 to 4 p.m. Spain time to like midnight or so. Basically, I was working. And like before then, I was just like trying to like bike as much as possible, also go for cool runs. I was in Girona, Spain
Mm-hmm.
for like the first month, and then which is like that's sort of like a big like cycling destination hub.
Yep.
A lot of pros go there and train. That's how I found out about it. There's so many like bike shops. And then after like Girona, I went to an island off of Spain called Majorca. If you're into cycling, like go to Majorca if
Yeah.
you can. Like it's unreal. Basically is like every ride I did there is probably like in my top 10 rides for sure that I've ever done. Like there's one ride out there, this climb called like Sa Calabra.
Okay.
And like the like road infrastructure is just like crazy. Like it's just like you see like a picture and the roads are sort of just like all weaving up this mountain but like intertwined. It like looks basically like if you have like a plate of spaghetti and you like twirl some spaghetti on your fork and like hold it up, that's like kind of what it looks like. And there's just bikers like everywhere. And it's beautiful. There's so many different climbs you can do out to like different ports and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, that trip looked beautiful, man. I've been to Spain and love it, man. But thinking of cycling some of those roads, I love the explanation of spaghetti. Those
Yeah,
twisty roads.
I can't like that. I can't take full credit for that. That was like this. I was in this like cycling cafe out there, and they had like some T-shirt that was like the like Sock Clever climb, where like some artist had done this like cartoony thing with like the spaghetti. And I was like, yeah, that's totally what that looks like.
That's why. How was the? Because I know you had some, and you have to if you cycling. How was the coffee stops and pastries?
Yeah. So like that's probably the part I left out in like the like eating all the gels. Like
Hmm.
there's you're gonna stop at like coffee shops. Like if you're out on a long ride and yeah, like the pastries out there are like insane. Like they have so many like shops and stuff too. Like there's like I mean we have a lot of like pastry places in Colorado. But yeah, like they have a bunch out there too. There's like in Girona, and every town kind of has like its own like pastry they're known for or
Oh, that's
whatever.
cool.
So like Girona was like they had these things called, I hope I don't butcher the name, but they're like Zuzos.
Okay.
And it's kind of like yeah, this isn't like it's like a really fancy almost uh like long john type thing, but like way like calling it a long john's like a disservice, but like I just don't know what else to like. And then it's like filled with like a custard that they're like they call it the creme de catalana lana out there.
You said that pretty good.
Yeah, so like that's and I like maybe like have some like powdered stuff on it. So that's like a kind of big one in Girona. And then in Majorca, their pastry thing was ensaimada, I think.
Hmm.
And it's sort of like it looks kind of like a cinnamon roll almost because it has like the sparkly like
Got it. Okay.
winey thing. But yeah, it's just like another like sweet type of pastry, not filled with anything, but yeah, equally good.
Okay. Well, if you're listening, hope you're not hungry. But that sounds dope, man. Is that like is officially your favorite trip so far, cycling? Or there's some others?
Yeah, no, that's like my favorite one for sure. I like I've done some like fun smaller like bikepacky ones around the states, which like that's fun too. But yeah, it's hard to compete with Majorca so far.
Yeah. So actually, we haven't spoken about this, but for those listening, what bike do you typically ride? I mean, I know, but for those listening, what's your
Yeah,
bike right now?
it's a Specialized Diverge. It's I got it in like 2021. It was pretty hard to find gravel bikes then because everyone was like buying them up. There were like COVID shortages, so it might be like a bit small for me, but kind of got it to fit well enough.
Hey,
So
Arrow, it's lighter.
yeah, yeah,
Put down more power, you know?
yeah.
Talking about power, I know you had that trip. We had spoken once, like, yeah, remind me of the trip, but you were backpacking as well. And like, I remember you sent me a picture, or at least I saw it on Strava, and you had a ton of weight on the bike. Uh, what's that like? And, you know, how do you just get up and go on a trip? Like, hey, I'm just going to rack up the bike and go on a couple day trip, you know, just through the country. How does that work, man?
Yeah, I think you gotta be patient. You gotta know you're gonna be going a lot slower. Should like it's a good idea to like test out your setup beforehand. Like just go on like a 10-mile ride around town with your bike loaded up with like everything like you're bringing for water. Water's really heavy. So like I think a lot of people might get worried that I need to bring a lot of water in case I run out and there's no place to like fill up. That's like gonna add the most weight to your bike. So like you want to really carefully think about how much water you need and then maybe bring like a filter or something so that you could get water from a stream or
Nice.
whatnot and then fill it up. But yeah, like I think you gotta like realize you're gonna go a lot slower and then like take it easy that first day. Honestly, you like just like with running, like cycling is a pretty low impact sport. It's very low impact until you like crash, and then it's like super high impact. But it like the thing with like a weighted bike is it's gonna load like your knees and stuff a lot more. So like maybe take it easy on that first day and let your body kind of adapt to like all that extra weight that you're like pushing up a hill or something.
Some good advice there. Do you strength train to help with those kind of rides? What's your strength routine?
Yeah. I don't specifically like strength train for cycling, but I do enjoy strength training. It's like funny that like I think before we started recording, but you mentioned you got into like strength training first.
Yeah,
That's sort of like similar for me. Like I was like a really scrawny like high schooler, and like even like a couple of years of like college, and so like I got into the gym that way because it's like, oh, I need to get big. But now now I just like strength training. I like feeling stronger. Like think you can if you're just going out for runs and bike rides, like you will lose a lot of muscle mass if you
yeah,
don't strength train. So I'll like go like in the summer like twice a week and usually do like full body stuff. In the winter more because I'm doing less stuff outside.
makes sense. What's your routines like? So you go twice a day. Like what kind of lifts do you do? High volume, high reps, lower volume, low reps, more power.
Yeah, I'm into like sort of like the powerlifting movements. So I'll do like usually start a session with squats or something. Maybe do like a 5x5 or 3x8 or something. Usually not doing too many more reps than like 8 or 10 on squats, and usually not any lower than like 5. Like deadlifts, yeah, I'll go like heavier on deadlifts. Sometimes I'll do like 5 sets of like 3 reps, and I'll also sometimes do like more reps for deadlifts because like that can be good for just like building up like running muscles and
Yeah.
stuff like higher repetitions. And then yeah, I do bench press. I don't really think that helps me with biking or running.
No, but as guys, we want to bench press.
But yeah, everyone likes having some pecs,
Yeah.
and then yeah, I'll do like pull-ups and dips sometimes like with like a weight belt and stuff. So like I keep things pretty simple. I'll do like some accessory movements with dumbbells and stuff, but I try to not like maybe on heavy squats I'll take like big rests between them, but I also like to try and like put exercises back to back so I like I'm not resting too much and I can get in and out of the gym quicker.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do that often too, to just kind of like keep it under 45 minutes, 30 minutes nowadays, given all the running and stuff. No, the days of an hour and a half, 2 hours are gone.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, we're training for power and strength in what we're doing with cycling or running, and there's some ego muscles we're training, with pull-ups, chin-ups and stuff. I still do those because we want to feel strong.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk running. So how did you transition into, I know it's a newer hobby, but you already got a marathon down at home as well. How'd you start with running? What got you into running? What's that
Yeah.
journey been?
So it's funny, gravel biking got me into running because so there's this gravel race called the Mid South. It's like one of like the first gravel races of the season. Like I think it's like in March. So, and like the registration, like when you're signing up for all these gravel races, like the bigger ones, they like fill up really fast. Some
Yeah.
have like, you have to go through like a lottery system similar to like big marathons and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the Mid South, like there's no lottery system. It just like sells out really quickly. And like a friend like said, oh, like Mid South, like signups are open. And like I saw that like the big race there is like it's 100-mile gravel race, and that it was sold out already. But they have this thing called the double, and the double is a 50K like trail run, dirt road run on Friday, and then you do the 100-mile gravel race on Saturday, and then they
Oof.
like just combine your times. And I was like, all right, I guess this is how I can do the like 100-mile like bike race. And so like I signed up for that, and that was probably like it was like October or November, so like 6 months before roughly. And I had been running a little bit just for like fun before then, but that was like the first time I was like, okay, I guess like I'm gonna run. Okay, I gotta like actually like train for this and figure out what I'm doing. And yeah, so like from that point on, like I think I just like I started learning to enjoy running in like
Mm-hmm.
that training process, and figured out like I had never really been able to run more than like 10 miles a week before, because I wasn't training running correctly, and I would always get some injury, and I never like went to like PT to like resolve that injury, or then like
Mm-hmm.
figure out exercises to like make my weak muscles stronger. So like I did like some PT when that stuff like popped up, figured out like how to train better and actually like build mileage safely. I just enjoyed that whole process. 50K went well, but then
Okay.
like I signed up for grandma's marathon in like that's in like June, like 3 months after that, to sort of like continue to like build and like ride that like wave. And yeah, I sort of enjoyed running. It's like a way. I don't run super like right now. I'm doing a lot more biking, but I try and run like at least once a week to sort of just like keep that muscle memory and stuff. And it's like it's a way for me to like just like mentally decompress a lot easier than like biking for some reason. Like
Really?
yeah, so I think like biking there it's easier to just throw on shoes and like get out the door. And like some days like after like I'm not like a morning person. I know a lot of people get their runs in the morning,
Yeah,
like I think you do.
for sure. Yeah.
But like I like if I've had like a stressful day or just like a lot going on at work, like I just like to like, just like, and maybe there's only like an hour of daylight left. Like it's gonna be a lot easier for me to decompress on like an hour run, because I'll still feel like I actually did something. Or if I just go for like an hour bike ride, it's like yeah, not the same. You're maybe like battling like more cars on the roads and stuff that are like stressing you out. Yeah.
Wait, so your first race, if I'm getting this right, was one, an accident, and two, a 50K race?
Yeah, I don't.
Talk about YOLO.
Yeah, for sure. I don't like. I don't know if I'd recommend that, but like it also was like I wasn't like I wasn't super stressed about like I just wanted to finish it. I wasn't like I didn't set any goal times or anything. Like I just wanted to finish it and try and run the whole thing if I could.
So you had the biking, I'm sure, down by then because you wanted to do the 100K anyway on the biking. But what about the running? Did you like have to prepare? Like, what was the lead up time to that?
Yeah, so I did like most of the time I spent training was all running, just because it was
Got it.
like pretty new to me and I needed to like build my mileage up enough. So I think that was just like was learning how to train for running better. Like I was one of those people that like anytime they went out for a run, went out like way too hard. Like I felt like I needed to put like get my money's worth of the workout or something. And so like I would just like push really hard anytime I went for a run. So I had to learn not to do that. Basically
We
just
all
like
do it in the beginning.
yeah, and it was like I think a big like unlock for me when I realized that like no, like most of the best runners they're actually running easy most of the time. Like so learning that, learning like how to like safely like build mileage, like for like the first like couple months, like don't I didn't really even focus on like building my mileage up that much. I just wanted to build like a solid base at let's say 15 to 20 miles a week. If you're just starting out, like that's even too much. But like also like making the runs so that like I always gave my body like a rest day. So like not running on back to back days because my muscles just weren't used to running. And then yeah, like eventually as I started building the mileage up, I would do maybe like 3 weeks where I was increasing it by like roughly 10% or whatever, maybe increasing my long run by a mile or two. And then like I'd sort of take like a week to sort of deload after that and just like do like reduced mileage. And I basically did that for like four months up until the like 50K.
Man, that was a pretty smart and intuitive from the jump. You deload weeks, upping the mileage smartly. Did you have a coach at all, or you just look some stuff up or instinct?
Yeah, it's like I read some books.
Okay.
I talked to some people. I also went to like a PT
Mhm.
for like a couple like overuse things that I was getting early on. She's run some fast marathons and like
Nice.
stuff, and so she helped me with like training plans too. But yeah, I wasn't ever following like a specific training plan. It's just like kind of trying to follow like principles I'd either read about or like heard from people.
What kind of books did you read? Just curious, like if it's some of the staples.
Yeah, yeah. So the first one I read was 80/20 running.
It's a good
I
one.
just like yeah, running easy and stuff. Then like I read like a lot more sort of just like they're like I guess more fictional type books. Like I read the like Once a Runner. There's a sequel to that one that was I also read. Uh, then there was another book, but I think like it, I can't remember the name of it. I think by a Japanese author or something.
Mhm.
That was like really good. He's sort of like a writer that's also just like a runner, everyday person. Not super fast marathon times, but just talks about like why he liked running. Uh,
Yeah.
Sort of like what he gets out of it. And then just like yeah, stuff online, of course.
Curious question for you, because I have a lot of friends that often, when injured, they fall to cycling, right? Cross training, if you will. But you cycle more. Do you find a lot of parallels in the training from cycling to running and vice versa? Like, do they merge often for you, or they're very just different?
Yeah, they definitely help each other out. I would say running helps the cycling a lot more than the cycling helps the
Okay.
running, at least for me. And I think that's because like cyclists like they can like get into running and maybe like a 5K or 10K that's pretty fast. Um, but they might be pretty destroyed after that if they're not like running a lot because it's just like you're using so many more muscles. It's so much more high impact.
Yeah.
And so like running, like you build like I built like a really good base through it, like training for the 50K and marathon where like then when I started cycling again, I noticed that like my heart rate was a lot lower. And all of a sudden it wasn't like the heart rate that was limiting me on like bike rides. It was just like my legs couldn't push, like they were gassed and couldn't push any more power. And my heart rate was still like, lower. Like it was still like at threshold level, but it wasn't like super high.
Yeah, or just probably gas from like a muscle standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay. I figured I'd ask you. That's a good one to share for those listening because I'm sure a lot of people cross train with cycling and vice versa. It's either usually cycling or elliptical. I figured I'd ask you as someone who cycles more.
Yeah.
Let's talk grandma's marathon, right? From what I remember right, by then your mileage was a little bit higher. That's around when we met. There was this, for all those listening, there's this track club. Well, they do road runs now too, but there's this pretty famous track club out in Boulder. Fast people, all kind of people, where Sean was running, and that's where we kind of synced up the first time. But by then his mileage was a little bit up. So let's talk about that a little bit. I think you're running more consistently than like 3-4 times a week, but also cycling pretty heavy, 2-3 times a week if I remember. Let's talk how was that experience like, the ramp up and getting into grandma's marathon?
Yeah. That was pretty fun because like the so when we met at like the track workouts, that was sort of like the first time I'd started doing speed work. So
Yep.
like that was totally new for me. So that was sort of like a really great like format to like pick it up, run with some other people that could like push you and also like make sure that like I was like doing workouts that were like going to help me and like
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't just going out to like the track and like doing my own like intervals or something
Random
with
loops.
really no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, I think that was like a lot of fun for me, like because that was like the first time like I started seeing like I don't know, like actually running fast. Like I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
it's fun. It's fun to run fast now and then. So yeah, like that was, and then only would do that like just like one track workout a week. But I think that helped a
Mm-hmm.
lot at like the grandma's marathon and stuff because like I think it's always like the I was concerned like you have goal times and whatnot and you do most of your runs like really slow and then your goal time is like this pace seems like pretty fast to like be able to hold for like 26 miles. I've never really done
Yep.
that in any of my training runs, but you do like a few speed workouts that are a lot faster than that pace and that gives you like a bit of confidence.
Yeah. What was your longest runs in that training block leading up to grandma's?
Maybe like 21 or 22 miles. And I just did that once.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I think my biggest mileage week was maybe like 50. And I did that like the last 2 weeks before I started deloading, like 2 weeks before.
And what was your goal time at grandma's?
It was 3:20.
3.
Yeah. I don't really know how I like came to that number, but yeah, I think that might be like what I put on the like you have to like put an estimated finish time when I signed up for it.
Yeah, they always ask. Yep. Yeah, they ask kind of to put you depending on like what wave. Well, most races depending on the wave. Grandma's pretty big, so depending on, put you around similar people. But yeah, if I remember right, you had a good race. Share with the pod like how'd your first race go? What time did you hit? What did it feel like crossing that finish line?
Yeah, it was so good. It's like I haven't signed up for another one yet. I will at some point, but like I think it's gonna be tough to beat like that first grandma's race. Like the conditions were kind of just perfect. Like
Hmm.
it was like a light rain and like maybe like 50 degrees. It's like when you like finished you got really cold, but like while you were running it was
Yeah.
like perfect and there was like a little bit of tailwind too. So yeah, like it went really well. I took it like pretty conservatively. The first I started with like the 3:30 pacer. And then like I just saw went like wanted to see how that felt for like the first 10K and it felt pretty good, so I just started like ramping it up from there. And yeah, I came through like halfway pretty much like right on like 3:20 the goal time. And then yeah, I continued to just I was like feeling good, so continued just slowly crank it up and ended up finishing like 3 hours 14 minutes. And I think like I maybe had a bit too much left in the tank at the end because like I
Hmm.
I think like I set like a 5K PR or something in like the last 5K of the race or whatnot. But I was like super worried about like just like cramping or something in my legs
Yeah.
if I like pushed too hard early on. So I really just wanted to enjoy it. Like that was like the most important thing for me.
Yeah, man, that's an amazing time, honestly, for like the first one. And I remember now, actually, after you just said it just now, you telling me like, yeah, I think I left some in the tank, but man, 3:14 for the first one, and going fast, last 5K split being the fastest. So that's a win in anyone who's running any race, no matter what time. If you finish your last split faster than the first, and obviously it means you have more fitness there, and your second one, the first one's always the hardest, because then you learn the distance and it gets easier and easier, but. Yeah, for whenever you do sign up for that next one, man, I think you're gonna be able to have some even more fitness to put out there, which is gonna be fun for you, maybe depending on the training block, because it means you're going faster.
Yeah. Yeah. What one do you think I should sign up for next? Like you've done.
Man, that's up to you. I mean, you're cycling more right now, but it depends on like your goals and stuff. But like, I mean, if I remember right, and this is going off top of head, but I think you negative split the whole thing, and you had obviously a second half 5K. Grandma's is good. If you really want to go fast, a flat one would be great. Indianapolis, I'm doing that one this fall. But that one's a fast one regardless. Chicago's a great one as well. It's a major, so it's kind of hard to get into with the lotteries now. It's just similar how you explain with biking, it's getting so popular now that like the lottery you can sign up, but chances of getting in are like very hard. But
Yeah.
I would sign up some non-lottery ones. I believe Erie, Pennsylvania is a fast one. Like it's flat
Really?
course. Yeah, and it's like not that hard to get into from it has a lot of runners, but I believe you can just sign up. What are some other CIM? A lot of people like CIM in California. That's in December, plenty of time to train and whatnot. And it probably sets you up for a nice fall. We're in the fall weather in Boulder, Colorado here, where you can train, not be dying from the heat. You can enjoy your
Yeah.
cycling and then get to a training block. That might be a good one. Then next year, like early year, Mesa is a popular one in Mesa, Arizona. I believe that's end of February, so you can kind of train through the winter too and like enjoy some nice little break from our cold weather here. And lastly, top of my head, probably Eugene as well, which is I believe either somewhere between March, April at the start of the year. Those are some good ones there.
Yeah. I thought about doing Eugene briefly, like this year.
Okay.
But yeah, like I think yeah, it'll come down to maybe like when I want to like train for one because yeah,
Yeah.
it'll like take over your life for
I
sure.
mean, since you cycle a lot, obviously, and that's your favorite, just unsolicited advice here, I would say probably enjoy your summer, man, because cycling is amazing here. And then, like, pick a fall one or early spring one where, like, we can't cycle as much.
Yeah.
Because, once we start getting snow and ice and below 30, indoor trainer or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I try and avoid the indoor trainer at all costs. That's probably why I got into running too, because it's like it's a bit easier to like run when it's cold, I think, than go biking.
Yeah. You can layer up and it's not too bad. There's good gear now for layering up. You'll see runners obviously in Colorado. We love running here. In the winter where, your bike, the air pressure and whatnot can fade fast. It can get slippery. We get snow, then you can't, you can still run in snow usually as long as it's not too bad. You got treadmill, bike, you got to set up a whole trainer. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
It gets crazy. Well, that said, man, what's next for you? What do you got lined up? Any cycling races coming up? Anything you training for? Or what's just next for you over the next couple months?
Yeah, like I'm not signed up for anything right now, and I'm kind of like enjoying it, like just like enjoying going out for like long rides on Saturdays or Sundays and stuff with like out any real like goal or something to train for. But yeah, I'll probably sign up for like a race or two. Like just did in or around Colorado this summer. Like there's a good one
Yeah.
up in like Fort Collins called like Foco Fondo. That's like a pretty fun one
Okay.
to do. The Chef Boyardee guy, he lives out in Iowa these days, like in Cedar Rapids, and there's like a race kind of out there called like Core Four gravel, which I haven't done before,
Mhm.
but it sounds pretty cool. They call it like Core Four because there's like four different types of like road surfaces, I think. So there's like pavement, gravel, like single track mountain bikey stuff. Yeah, I don't know what the fourth is. Maybe I'm making that up, but that
Mud or
sounds
something. I don't know.
yeah,
Grass.
grass. Yeah, grassel as they call it.
I think I might have heard this one through like a cycling influencer. I feel like I have, maybe last year when he did it. I don't know if you ever seen. I may miss say his handle, but I believe it's VC Adventures or something. He's like sponsored by Canyon.
But yeah,
I'll link it to you after the show here.
Yeah, I think he used to be like the vegan cyclist or whatever.
Yes, there we go. That's what it was. Yes, him. Yeah, I forgot he changed it, and it used to be that. Yeah, I think he did Core 4 at some point, which is where I've seen, or someone on YouTube, I've seen videos. I'm pretty sure I know this Core 4 one. And I remember seeing people's like hubs and everything being destroyed because it was a brutal race. I think it was the year where it like rained the day before. They were thinking to cancel it because it just was really, obviously it could do damage on the bike.
Yeah. Besides those, like there is one like in Minnesota that I want to do some year. It's called the Dam Day Across Minnesota. It's just like 240 miles across the state, like west to east on gravel roads. The like tough part about that is like just the transportation logistics. It's like a smaller ride or race. So you have to like shuttle yourself. So it starts in like a no-name town in South Dakota. There's not like a rental car company or anything. So like you gotta drive there or get someone to drop you off.
Okay.
And then you're ending in like Wisconsin, something like 6-8 hours away. I don't know. So like you'd have to drive back and get your car afterwards, or get someone to like then pick you up. So we'll see. That one's like at the beginning of August. I don't know if it'll be this year, but I'd like to do it at some point.
Sounds fun, except for the logistics part, but all right. Well, on that note, thank you for being on, Sean. For everyone listening, this is the People Run Podcast. Thanks for checking it out. Hope you enjoyed this one. Check us out on YouTube, the People Run Podcast. Where you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Deezer, wherever that is, we're on there. Thanks for checking it out. Sean, I appreciate you for hopping on this one. This has been the People Run Podcast. Thanks, everyone. Until next time.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. You should come up to the North Boulder gravel roads sometime. We'll go for a run.
Yeah, we got to do that for sure. Run or cycling. I want to do that because it's just fun.
Yeah. All right, man. Peace.